Ball promoting it. It's just like doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad.
I am seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody ridiculous.
Jake Paul, Gervonta Tank Davis, the fight is in jeopardy, and it's for a reason that I think you all could believe, but maybe can't believe is happening again.
Joe Rogan has voiced surprise over reports that the Netflix-streamed exhibition between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis may not go ahead as expected. What began as another major boxing payday has quickly turned into a mix of legal disputes and heated exchanges across social media.
If you know the situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I'm giving my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled.
Reports suggest that Gervonta Davis is facing new legal issues, including a civil lawsuit from a former partner that alleges serious misconduct. The situation has put his highly anticipated November exhibition with Jake Paul in doubt. Multiple outlets are drawing attention to the lawsuit, the possibility of Davis being taken into custody, and the fresh accusations that emerged at the end of October.
And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. It's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it, it
watching
bothers the
it is
fuck out
hard.
of me.
Watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you
parasocial
in.
thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So
the situation has resurfaced in headlines. Earlier this year, he was arrested in South Florida on a misdemeanor battery-related charge, a story widely covered at the time. His previous cases have shifted between dropped charges and plea agreements. Those past incidents are part of why this latest legal uncertainty feels especially serious to both promoters and fans.
I'm seeing reports online that Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolute.
Meanwhile, Dane Margera wrote on X that the fight is being postponed, saying, "Update. I'm hearing it's being postponed. Not sure on the date, but I'm about 80% certain the November 14th event is cancelled." The update indicates that organizers may be shifting the bout to a later date, likely to allow for smoother planning and a stronger promotional build-up. The Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis event has had a massive promotional push, with significant spending on ads, interviews, and social media campaigns. The build-up has been loud and flashy, reflecting how committed the organizers are to making it a major spectacle. But despite the heavy promotion, ticket sales have been disappointingly weak, with reports suggesting that fans aren't particularly interested in the matchup. The lack of excitement and poor sales have raised new doubts about whether the fight will actually take place, fueling growing talk that it may be cancelled or postponed.
The promo, when they start promoting it, it is going to be fire. The promo will be better than the fight, right? Because obviously, I don't like the fight. I'm not a fan of the fight. I cannot stand the decision for Tank to go in this direction, although I understand it, right? I understand it because I understand the business behind it. So I get all of that. But the promo is fire. If you go watch it, the way that is shot, the production of it looks very, very top of the line, top shelf, as you would expect from a company as big as Netflix, which is a $530 billion company. So they have the budget, they have the money to make sure their production is A1. Obviously, as a Tank Davis fan, paying attention to him in the promo, the young man looks in good spirits. He looks like he's in a good headspace, and he doesn't look like he's unhappy to be there, which bodes well for the prospects of him continuing to continue his boxing career, I guess, not retiring. And I think that as he gets closer to the fight, as the fight happens, he'll be in this happy place. And I expect for Tank fans, for boxing fans, to get really good news after Tank Davis and Jake Paul share the ring and they do the post-fight press conference. I think that a lot of people will probably be happy with the outcome of what Tank Davis has to say after that fight. But the promo is fire. It's just a trailer. It's up on the Netflix YouTube channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. Really enjoyed watching that promo. Watched it a couple of times. And as I said, I'm paying attention to the press conferences. I'm paying attention to the build-up because I feel like there's a chance that could be more entertaining than the actual fight.
The fight between Paul and Davis has left fans and analysts confused. Many are questioning why Jake Paul agreed to face Gervonta when there seems to be little real benefit for him. From every angle, the matchup appears unnecessary and has failed to spark genuine excitement. Even with all the marketing and promotion, public interest remains low. Ticket sales are reportedly weak, and online fans are calling the fight meaningless. Most people feel the bout offers nothing new for either fighter, which is why the hype has not turned into real anticipation. Jake Paul has built his reputation through big promotions and attention-grabbing stunts, but this time the idea isn't landing. Unlike his previous fights, where opponents were closer to his size and experience, this matchup feels mismatched and directionless. Observers believe Jake's strategy of staying relevant through unusual pairings may finally be losing its impact. There's a growing feeling that this event exists more for attention than competition, which helps explain why ticket sales remain low despite weeks of advertising and interviews.
It doesn't even make sense for Jake, for all the things Jake's talking about doing. It makes no sense for him. Again, money, sure. If it makes dollars make sense, okay, fine. But I want to see Jake in competitive matchups where I am interested in the outcome. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in the outcome of this. I was interested in Floyd versus Logan because there was an idea that Floyd was a little slower, a little older, and Logan would be able to knock him out. If Jake knocks Tank out, so what? What does that do for him? Because he said he could beat Canelo. He said he could beat Anthony Joshua. This one to me, like, I've gotten on board with a lot of Jake fights because they've made sense. Right? To me, they've made sense. Even Julio Cesar Chavez, after he's already beaten the guy that beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he beat Anderson Silva a couple of years back now. This one still kind of makes sense because you're getting maybe a better version of Chavez, and he's around the same weight now. When you talk about the Tank fight, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But let's take a look at what he said to Ariel Helwani and see how he explains this fight.
Was the next one Tank?
Yeah, I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But, man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
Again, I just don't know why. Why would this be where you go? Like, the Mike Tyson thing I could kind of understand because it's Mike, and it's an exhibition, and he's retired. Tank still being in the competitive nature of the sport throws this one completely off for me. And the fact that Jake is like 60 pounds bigger than he is. Right? Like, Mike was obviously far older than Jake, and that was the big knock on that fight. Mike should not have been in there with Jake. Said that many times. Jake has fought so hard against people saying he's bad for the sport. He's bad for the sport. He doesn't actually want to fight or step up or do any of this stuff. And I've kind of had his back when I'm like, no, he is doing what most boxers have done early in their career. But this gives those people more ammo to be like, yeah, bro, look, this is what we're talking about. When we say he's bad for the sport, or when we say that he's doing stuff that doesn't make sense and he's making a mockery of things, this is what they're talking about. And again, I wouldn't have any problem with it if Tank was way past the point where he could fight competitively at his weight class and have fights with guys like Shakur.
The fight rules have also raised questions among fans. It has been confirmed as an exhibition bout with a maximum weight limit of 195 pounds, and both fighters must wear 12-ounce gloves. These conditions make the matchup seem more like a spectacle than a serious competition. Many viewers view it as a promotional stunt aimed at drawing casual audiences rather than true boxing fans. Due to the significant weight difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, analysts believe the rules were adjusted for safety. But they still don't make the fight feel fair or meaningful from a sporting perspective.
Paul versus Tank Davis press conference just went down,
and the official rules for the fight have also been announced. So the fight will take place at 195 pounds, so 60 pounds higher than Tank normally fights at lightweight, and lower than what Jake has been fighting at cruiserweight and heavyweight. The fight will also be 10 rounds and 3-minute rounds each. So exhibitions are usually 2-minute rounds, but this will be 3-minute rounds like a pro fight, and 10 rounds is almost as long as a championship fight. They'll have 12-ounce gloves, so 2 ounces larger than usual, and there'll be 3 judges ringside to decide a winner. So unlike normal exhibitions where there is no winner, if this fight does go to decision, they will have scorecards to decide who wins. Now in the press conference, Tank was asked why he's taking this fight and not the Lamont Roach rematch, and he said he's doing what's best for him and his family. The media always switch up on him after one fight, and this is what he wants to do. He also said that Jake is a decent fighter, but taller fighters struggle with shorter fighters, and he's going to frustrate Jake, and after a couple of rounds, everyone knows what's going to happen. Now Jake, he promised to knock Tank out. He said that Tank has holes in his defense, gets frustrated, and we saw what a 135-pound Roach did to him, so he's going to knock him out. Jake also said that he still wants Canelo even though he lost to Crawford. And he said after he gets through Tank, Canelo's going to be on his list. And then we had the face-off with a noticeable size difference, but that was the first press conference. And I'm glad there's going to be a winner.
When it comes to Gervonta, Tank, Davis, fans are just as divided. Many of his supporters are disappointed with his decision to take this fight. They expected him to focus on serious opponents within his weight class, not crossover bouts that seem driven only by money. Still, Gervonta has made it clear that he no longer cares about what people think.
Ellerby said, to tell you the truth, Gervonta Davis couldn't get up for Lamont Roach. And what does that mean? It means that he could not get inspired, that he was not motivated to fight Lamont Roach, that his mind was not in a place where it was like, yeah, okay, let's get it, and he was going to war with Lamont Roach. He was going through the motions with Lamont Roach during the training camp and could never really get himself motivated to really give the best of himself against Lamont Roach, and that probably affected him during training and during the fight. And that is something that can happen, especially if you really look back on what happened with the Lamont Roach fight and all of the ups and downs about that fight being made. Because first, if you recall, he wasn't supposed to be fighting Lamont Roach. The person he was supposed to be fighting was Vasily Lomachenko. You know, the guy that everybody says that he doesn't want to fight, that he didn't want to fight. Gervonta Davis was up and prepared to fight Vasily Lomachenko. So it shouldn't surprise anybody that if he tries to make a fight with Vasily Lomachenko, that fight doesn't go through. Then he tries to make a fight with Lamont Roach. He can't get the fight done for Houston with Lamont Roach because there was all kind of venue problems and drama going on around Gervonta getting a venue in Houston. So they wind up eventually moving the fight to New York City and pushing it back even further. So not only is it a fight where he didn't just jump out of from his last fight that he had and jump into a fight with Lamont Roach, he got held up. And then also during that period of time, he had to spend some time in jail for a parole violation after them.
Money has also become a major topic surrounding this matchup. Many observers argue that both Jake Paul and Gervonta, Tank, Davis are taking part for financial reasons rather than sporting ambition. This criticism is directed especially at Davis, who has often said that his goal in boxing was to change his life, not necessarily to chase records or titles forever. He has openly talked about wanting to secure his financial future and support his family, making it clear that income remains a strong motivator. However, this honesty has led some fans to claim that he's losing the hunger that once made him one of the most feared fighters in the lightweight division. Analysts have pointed out that Gervonta's recent career choices reflect a shift in priorities. Instead of facing top contenders, he seems more focused on marketable fights that offer bigger paychecks. The Jake Paul bout fits that pattern perfectly. It's not a test of skill or legacy, but an opportunity for massive promotion, social media attention, and guaranteed money. While this may make business sense, it does little to strengthen Davis's standing with boxing purists who value true competition above everything else.
Professional boxer Jake Paul, who has 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, opposed to fighting against the likes of his peers who are well accomplished and superstars in their own right for legacy fights like Shakur Stevenson, like Teofimo Lopez, like Devin Haney, why he's not interested in those fights. And he gets real, right? He gets real, and only thing we could do is salute it, right? Because he's saying, I never told y'all I wanted to be a world champion. I never told y'all I wanted to be undisputed. I got into this for myself and my circumstances to escape from my circumstances. And that's real. We can't blame him for that. We hold him in high regard because the statements he's made and misled people when he said he got a hit list that he wants to check off before he retires, and that hit list includes Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, who turned down the fight because of a severe back injury. And then he told the world, he told Champside, it would be great for him to become undisputed. So I think that he had a change of heart at some point in time.
As for Jake Paul, his motivation seems similar. From the start, he has used boxing to grow his brand and showed that he's more than just an internet personality. However, choosing to fight Davis, who is smaller but far more experienced, raises questions about what he actually hopes to gain. Winning wouldn't earn him much credit, since many expect him to benefit from a natural size advantage. But losing could seriously damage his image as a bold, resilient fighter. For that reason, many believe this matchup carries more risk than reward for Jake Paul.
He made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another $40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that.
The debate around this event also reflects a broader issue in modern boxing, the rise of unusual matchups. Fans and experts have noticed that the sport is increasingly filled with fights created for headlines rather than legacy. Exhibition bouts, influencer fights, and crossover matchups have become more common. The proposed clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta, Tank Davis is viewed as another example of business decisions outweighing genuine competition. While these events generate online buzz, they rarely earn long-term interest or respect within the boxing community.
Taking on Tank Davis in an exhibition on November 15th in Atlanta, Georgia, live on Netflix. And this is crazy for multiple reasons. One, they have a huge size difference. Tank Davis, he's a lightweight, normally fights at 135 pounds. And Jake Paul, he's a cruiserweight, usually fights at 200 pounds. So there's a good 60 to 65 pound difference here. It could also mean that Tank Davis is no longer interested in competing for titles anymore and is cashing out of boxing. You know, there's been a lot of talks that Tank is nearing retirement this year, and he was supposed to rematch Lamont Roach after their first fight went to a draw, but instead of chasing the Roach rematch, instead he takes the Jake Paul fight for money. So maybe this is Tank's last, or one of his last fights. And same for Jake Paul. He just got ranked number 14 at cruiserweight after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., so he's supposed to be fighting other ranked contenders or top guys at cruiserweight, but instead, he's taking a money fight. But I do expect these two to go after each other. Even though it is an exhibition, I don't think it'll just be some boring sparring match. I do think they'll try a decent amount. But Tank, obviously, is a lot more skilled. Jake, he has a lot more size. But you guys let me know who you...
Retired champion Carl Frick recently shared his opinion on the situation, calling Jake Paul's boxing path financially motivated rather than career-driven. Frick stated that Jake seems focused more on paydays and viral moments than on genuine progress as a fighter. His view reflects what many traditional boxers and trainers feel, that the sport is turning into entertainment rather than a disciplined craft. Frosch's criticism is part of a growing conversation about the direction of boxing, especially when social media personalities enter the ring against professionals. For now, the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight remains one of the most talked about yet least understood events in recent memory. It brings together two personalities from very different worlds under one spotlight, promising spectacle but offering little substance. Whether it finally takes place or not, the discussion around it has already shown how boxing continues to balance between sport and show business.
After a payday, listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances. But I'll take the fucking payday, of course I will. And I'll end Jake Paul with one punch. I'd go in there one-armed and beat this guy. He can't box. He's absolutely fucking useless, which we saw last night with Mike Tyson. Talking about Canelo Alvarez. I've not mentioned Canelo Alvarez because it's just laughable. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez, can you imagine? I mean, Jake Paul fancies that and he jumps in the ring with him. I will pay homage to him because fair play, if he jumps in there with Canelo Alvarez, he'll get absolutely fucking destroyed and it will be fast and it will be messy. And
until next time, thanks for watching.